Welcome to Pokemon Masterclass. I'm your host, GymLeaderJustin. Today we're playing the brand new all-rounder in Pokemon Unite, Dragonite. It's Zero's top 3 favorite Pokemon of all time. We're going to be playing the Hyper Beam Dragon Dance build. We're going to be talking about the difference between the ranged option in Hyper Beam or the melee Outrage. We're going to have Sport Ninja helping us out on the Wigglytuff in lane. Let's get into it. Class is in session. So Dragonite is really interesting. He's probably one of the most unique kits in the game. He is the first ranged all-rounder. So unfortunately Zero is out today. Kids are home from school for the holiday break. So it's just a little bit hard for him to get to record this morning. It is actually my birthday today, so really exciting to be able to put out this Dragonite footage. So again, shout out to Sport Ninja. Dougy's helping us out getting some footage, laning with us with the Wigglytuff. So, this build, I'm going to be going Score Shield, Muscle Band, and Razor Claw. So, as you can see here, the Pikachu and the Lucario are playing pretty aggro early. You can see Lucario's trying to do the stacking, and we ended up killing him before he gets in. I'm not personally a big fan of the stacking for that reason. Specifically, like if your enemies know what they're doing, they just kill you before you get there. So he plays a little aggro. That's going to be a common theme in this video. So Doug and I do get a little bit of points in. Every little bit matters because you do get experience every time you score, regardless of kind of how many points you're scoring in. You're still getting some experience, which is really good. Twister has a little bit of a slow, but it's minimal. And Dragon Breath is just kind of like a miniature hyper voice. Like you shoot it out in one direction and you can still strafe, but it stays facing that direction until the purple fire is done. So you can see right here the Lucario is starting to feed now. He's just kind of going too ham. He already lost the fight and then he went in again without backup, and as you can see here, third time's a charm. He just doesn't learn his lesson, and this is basically how we're going to get fed. This is the story here. Again, he's trying to go for those sneaky attack weights, but he doesn't have backup, and B, he's already behind. So we are able to pick that up easy peasy with the Dragonair and Wiggly combo. This build, I'm basically playing this as like a ranged damage dealer. This is like basically air quotes attacker version of Dragonite. This is what Brandon was wishlisting for. Zero wanted to have a ranged attacker, and this version of this Hyper Beam Dragon Dance build that I'm running here, this is a ranged damage dealer. So you don't go into it thinking of it like I'm a bruiser or I'm melee or I'm frontline or anything like that. You definitely have the mindset in this build of mid to backline damage, and it turns out really well. So we are going to be getting Hyper Beam soon, and Hyper Beam's interesting. We have Dragon Dance here, as you can see. It just we dash forward, gives us an attack speed and damage buff, flat attack buff. So that scales really well into obviously either Outrage or Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam, it'll do really well because it'll make Hyper Beam stronger, obviously flat AD. As you can see here in this fight, I'm literally just poking with all of my autos, getting those boosted autos off. Right there, I get the stun on the Absol, and then boom, one more auto goes through, and I get the kill. Gets my evolution to Dragonite, and then I just, because I get the new ability of multi-scale, I take up the Pikachu's damage for free. And now I'm going to go up here. I know easily I can 1v1 this guy. Boom! There's Hyper Beam. Just nukes him. So I do make a mistake coming forward here. I should have stayed on the Rotom. I tried to go for the Pikachu and get greedy, but he had an Absol in his back pocket, and I get punished. So that is my fault. Stuff happens. We're not perfect. In hindsight, I should have stayed on the Rotom, and then we could have pushed him, no problem. But I did get greedy. I thought I could kill the Pikachu before he got to the shield. So as you saw right there with Hyper Beam, it is a targeted spell, which is really interesting. It's kind of like Solar Beam, but you lock onto somebody. So right here you can see I'm channeling the ultimate. It's a global ultimate for people that play League. It's like Pantheon. I'm jumping in here, get a point-blank Hyper Beam on the Pikachu, and we are able to 3v2 take them out as the Absol runs away. I would have killed him if he stayed in, so it's really good. So boom! Look at that damage. It only clipped him. It still did a third of his health. Hyper Beam does insanely good damage, especially when buffed from the Dragonite. As you can see, the icon right now of Hyper Beam is just kind of normal, and right there, when it gets charged, it'll start glowing yellow. So as you can see right there, I did lock onto Lucario, but then he dashed, boom, killed the Pikachu. So he dashed, and it ended up dodging the Hyper Beam because it was already locked in, and it's a timing thing. Now again, this Lucario doesn't seem like he was that great. He probably just got lucky, but it is something to note that you can, right as he's shooting it out, that's when you want to dash or use your eject button to get out, and you'll dodge the beam because it already locked into that target location of where you were when it starts shooting out the mouth. But yeah, it's a really interesting spell. You can see that it's really easy to pick a fight here because, okay, I'll just button out, get to the back line so I'm in the right position. Boom! Nuke down Lucario. Doug gets the kill there with the Dazzle. Really, really nice there. And we're able to just clean up from the back line. I'm just shooting over Doug's shoulder the whole time on that Wigglytuff. I'm just shooting over his shoulder. Purple Fireball, Purple Fireball, Purple Fireball, Hyper Beam. That's kind of the whole game plan here. And a tip from Zero, he definitely recommends, regardless of what your ZR move is, if you're taking Dragon Dance, you should basically be spamming it every time it's up. Because you're ranged autos normally, Dragon Dance just does so much work on the set, regardless of whether you go Outrage or Hyper Beam. So we're going to engage a fight here. Doug's calling. He says, hey, I got the Pikachu. Let's take him out. He gets away a little bit, and then we call, all right, let's just back off and let's go Rotom, right? We want to make sure that we have the objective. If they come back, then we can turn around and poke again with the Hyper Beam. Dragonite does pretty decent against objectives, even in this form, even though the Outrage form just shreds objectives. It's way better for neutral objective taking. But we're going to jump in here on the Pikachu. Just going to go Super Hand because he's alone. Like, they have to super jump in. They have to answer us. And we end up getting the Rotom in. So we can see, okay, I'm like, okay, Doug. They're pushing bot lane and top. The Absol's just scoring him. But he's not going to dunk, or he's not going to cap the goal. And they're pushing pretty decently bot. And Lucario may be AFK. Maybe he's trolling. We're not really sure here. We don't really like to punish people. We kind of like to give him a chance to, like, hey, come back, dude. You know what I mean? But he's just not there. We take those. You know what I mean? If you're gonna go AFK, it's only a 10-minute game. Like, if you got something important to do, sorry, that's on you. So we're gonna pick a fight here. This is another example of, even though Hyper Beam does so much damage and we're doing so much damage from the back line just with our autos, getting those boosted autos off, as Dragonite, we do get the every 9th auto becomes fire now. That's our 3rd element, and it's just boosted damage. As you can see there, the Gengar is able to dodge out our ultimate, able to dodge one of our Hyper Beams just from that crazy mobility. So it is something to note that hyper mobile carries can still get away, but then you just use your regular auto attacks. So that's one of the reasons why I like Razor Claw, is because Hyper Beam does have some sort of risk averse, or there is some risk to it. Excuse me, I misspoke. So that was right there. That was just straight up me throwing. I was kind of getting cocky to see how much damage I could do to the Cinderace, and everybody else spawned. And I died. 100%. I shouldn't have done it, but you know what I mean? We all learn, and still put it on YouTube because I'm just showing, like, everybody makes mistakes. So right here, the bird is about to spawn. Articuno's coming up really close. So you see Doug and Zeraora are mid. So I'm about to super jump mid, and right as I click the button, I notice, oh god, they all showed up top. So I just quickly click my ulti. I miss it a little bit. That's unfortunate for me. And then my Hyper Beam gets locked onto the Ice Cube. So just a really, really unfortunate. I should have just taken my time for a second. Boom! Look at that. Half health and just able to just drag that beam across and nuke down the Pikachu for free. The Gengar is going to run. He's going to split. He knows he can't duel us right now at all. Again, look at that damage on Lucario. Just boom! And then that boosted auto, throwing it in with the boosted auto and Razor Claw proc into the bird. And then we're able to easily take out the Gengar. Boom! Boom! Look at that damage! Hyper Beam into Razor Claw proc just nukes the Cinderace basically from full. Pikachu's going to proc his ulti, but it's not going to matter. We are going to get our points in. And now we're going to just nuke him here. Again, look at that. Hyper Beam, Razor Claw, boom! Into the Hydro Pump. The enemy team does surrender. Again, GG. We would like to see the game play out for the last minute to try to get a little bit more damage. But again, you see how many points we were able to score. I think we break 200 here, and I do ace it with like an overall score of 94. I think I went 16 and 12. I did 83,000 damage. But again, 3 of their carries were incredibly mobile, and it was hard for me to land a lot of my hyper beams. You saw quite a few hyper beams just miss because of them just dodging. But still, being able to put out that amount of numbers with just basically your ranged autos, you're being like that marksman mage carry. It's a lot of fun. It is my preferred build right now for Dragonite. Let us know down in the comments below. Do you like Hyper Beam? Do you like Outrage? Do you like Extreme Speed? Do you like Dragon Dance? We really want to know. Look at that. 94. Ace the test. Put me in, coach. The ranged dragon is here. Zero got his wish. He is a ranged attacker variant, even though he's classified as all-rounder. At least for this build. Hyper Beam is incredibly powerful. Super, super strong. Super fun. Until next time, I've been Gym Leader Justin. Class is dismissed.